Archangel Michael rewound time to show you one moment, and it revealed the hidden hand behind it all. A sacred moment in time was interrupted, not by man, but by Michael. It was not a dream. It was not imagination. It was not coincidence. It was an intersection, a divine rupture in the flow of time. At exactly 3:03 a.m., when the veil between realms is thinnest and the watchmen of heaven stand guard, time folded, and you were shown. Archangel Michael, the commander of heaven's armies, did not merely arrive, he intervened. He did not warn, he acted. He did not suggest, he rewound time itself to lay bare the moment the hidden hand was at work. A moment you lived through, perhaps dismissed, or perhaps buried beneath layers of emotion. But heaven did not forget. This was not a common visitation. This was not a generic message for the masses. This was a surgical strike in the spirit, a hand reaching into your history to pull out a seed that had been buried with deception. That seed grew into confusion, unrest, betrayal, pain, and questions. So many questions. But heaven has now answered. A moment. It was not random. It was divinely selected. It was the moment the hidden hand moved. And now Michael has taken you back, not to haunt you, but to heal you. Not to torment, but to train. Not to remind you of the pain, but to reveal the plot. There is an urgency to this revelation. For what was once hidden is now exposed, and what was once buried is now burning in the open air. This message is not for the distracted. It is not for those scrolling past spiritual truth to consume comfort. This is not for the sleepy or the skeptical. This is a message for the awakened, for the watchmen, for the intercessors, for the marked, for the chosen, for those whose lives carry unusual warfare because their destiny carries unusual weight. You did not stumble upon this word. You were summoned to it. The moment found you, because heaven ordained it. Michael didn't just visit. He activated something eternal in you. And now, all of heaven waits for your response. Will you dismiss it again? Or will you see? Will you remain distracted by noise? Or will you be still enough to recognize the silence where the hand was hidden? You are being shown not just a memory, but a mandate. A moment where history bent, and now your future shifts. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Michael stands in authority and unbound by time. Heaven did not forget. What man overlooks, what time attempts to conceal, what pain buries beneath layers of confusion, heaven remembers. And when heaven remembers, heaven responds. The Archangel Michael, the warrior of light, the defender of the chosen, the enforcer of divine order, now stands in your midst, not bound by hours, not confined by days, not hindered by man's definitions of time. He steps through eternity with assignment in his hand, and this time, he did not step into your present, he returned to your moment. That moment, the moment where your betrayal was born. This wasn't a dream. It wasn't some emotional stirring. It was intervention. Before the next 24 hours pass, Michael whispers through the veil, "You must understand what has been done." You see, there was a moment that fractured you. You didn't speak about it much. You tried to keep going. You tried to spiritualize it. But somewhere inside you, something locked up. And you never fully understood why. Until now. Because someone planted something. A seed of confusion. A question. A lie. It didn't come in fire. It came in subtlety. It didn't come with force. It came with familiarity. That's why it worked. Michael takes your hand now and brings you back, not to torment, but to testify, not to shame you, but to sanctify the space where the enemy operated. His message is not service. It's not chow. It doesn't concern the easily offended. This is holy territory. This is the realm of those who have wept without explanation, who have felt the sting of confusion cloaked as connection. This is for the spiritually mature, the ones who understand that the pain is not always about the moment, but about the mission. You must see this clearly now. A secret was sown into your past, not by the hand you saw, but by the one that moved behind the veil of that person. And it was intentional. Precision-level sabotage. A spirit that cloaked itself in warmth. A deception wrapped in love. An agent of disruption. It was there, right there, in the moment you questioned yourself. The moment you second-guessed what heaven had spoken. That was no accident. That was the agenda. But Michael has come. And when Michael comes, things shift. Timelines collapse. Veils are torn. Memories are no longer merely recollections. They become revelations. You are being shown something that changes everything. You are not being haunted by your past. You are being recruited by heaven. This rewind is not regression. It is restoration. You are being trusted with vision others can't carry. Because while many live in cycles, you are being pulled into the scroll. Hear this. The truth has waited in the folds of time. It has lingered beneath the surface of your understanding. And now, it is being unraveled, unveiled, revealed. You are standing in the divine courtroom where heaven opens records and rewrites destinies. This is not merely a message. This is a mandate. A sacred revealing to prepare you for movement. Michael did not come because you're weak. He came because you've been wounded in the place of your calling. He came because heaven has need of you, and clarity is your weapon now. The enemy sowed confusion, because clarity in the hands of the chosen is a sword of fire. And now that sword is being placed back in your hand. But not before you see. Not before you know. Not before you remember the truth of that moment. So listen, and listen well. Before the next 24 hours pass, a confirmation will come. Something will be said. Something will be shown. You will feel a shift, because time is bending around your obedience. Michael has gone before you, and now he calls you into agreement. This is not a time to run. This is not a time to doubt. This is not a time to question what God has already confirmed. This is a time to lean in, to listen, to fast, to posture your spirit before the Lord and say, I will see what you are showing me. I will go where you are leading me. You are not abandoned. You are not crazy. You are not being overly sensitive. You are being alerted. Spiritually, supernaturally, divinely. The timeline has shifted. The moment has returned. The hand behind it all is being revealed. And heaven has marked you for clarity, for confrontation, and for consecration. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. They smiled, but their spirit was unsettled. There was a day, a moment, that lingered like a shadow in the back of your memory. You didn't speak of it often, and when you did, you dressed it in casual terms. But heaven saw, Michael saw, and heaven remembered. The smile they gave you didn't match the vibration in their spirit. The handshake felt rehearsed. The hug felt cold beneath the warmth. You walked away, feeling something you couldn't explain. A hesitation in your chest, a flicker of resistance in your soul. And then, just like that, you dismissed it. You reasoned it away. You gave them the benefit of the doubt. You said to yourself, maybe it's just me. But it wasn't just you. Michael leans in now, and he asks the question that pierces through the haze. Why did they hesitate? You can hear it again now, can't you? That moment when they paused, ever so briefly, before responding to your excitement, before acknowledging your gift, before celebrating your breakthrough. It wasn't mere distraction. It was an emotional withdrawal sparked by spiritual discomfort. You sensed it, but you didn't trust what you felt. That moment was not an error. It was evidence. Someone wrote a memory you've lived with for years. They altered its meaning by sowing subtle dissonance. They twisted the tone. They redirected your confidence. They seeded uncertainty where faith once lived. You didn't see it then because you weren't meant to. Not yet. But now, in this season, under the covering of Michael's revelation, the veil has thinned. And now, you're seeing it clearly. Not just what happened, but why it happened. You were emotionally disrupted because something spiritual was out of alignment. And now, as the memory replays, the Spirit is revealing what was once hidden. That conversation you thought was casual, it was a spiritual exchange. That look you brushed off, it carried accusation. That silence you ignored, it was not peace. It was the restraint of someone wrestling with conviction. What seemed innocent with constructed deception. You were not crazy. You were discerning. But back then, you didn't know how to trust that part of you. But heaven did. The hidden hand behind it all operated in patterns, not in passion. They learned your rhythms, mirrored your words, echoed your dreams, all to gain access. Not to empower you, but to observe you. Not to support you, but to study you. They were close, too close. And that proximity is what made the deception potent. But now, the destruction is your deliverance. Because what once confused you is now becoming your confirmation. Your spirit recoiled for a reason. It was not fear, it was for warning. You are being shown what was truly happening behind the mask. The delay in their response. The strange silence. The misplaced tension. The flattery that felt empty. The compliment that missed the mark. It was all coded, not in truth, but in strategy. The strategy of the enemy who uses familiarity to access foundations. But now, heaven is disrupting the disguise. You may feel shaken now, but you are not shattered. Michael has not brought you back to break you. He has brought you back to break the lie. You have lived under the weight of that moment's misinterpretation for too long. Now, heaven is breathing clarity into that timeline. You are awakening to a deeper truth. Not everyone in your circle was sent by God. Some were sent to monitor, to mimic, to mislead. But now the cover is gone. The mask is cracking, and your eyes have adjusted to see beyond emotion, beyond performance, into spirit. Feel it now. The memory no longer holds pain. It holds power. The disruption of your peace was a prophecy. The awkwardness was an announcement. The sudden turn, the strange withdrawal, it was spiritual language you now understand. You're decoding it now because you've grown. You're decoding it now because heaven deems you ready. And now you are no longer a passive observer. You are a witness. You are a vessel. You are a guardian of spiritual awareness. You will not be deceived again. Because what disrupted you emotionally has now anointed you prophetically. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $10. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe now for exclusive revelations, weekly prophetic updates, and life-changing spiritual insights that keep you anchored and advancing. Type "I am awakened" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1414 is now surrounding you. The real enemy was never the person, it was the spirit. And now, child of God, you must see clearly what you once only felt dimly. You were not attacked by a face. You were confronted by a force. This battle you endured, this betrayal, this break, this bewildering detour, it was not merely human misunderstanding. It was spiritual positioning. The real enemy was never flesh and blood. It was never their smile. It was never their silence. It was never their support turned stale. It was the spirit behind them. The one that whispered lies in their ear about you. The one that stirred insecurity in their hearts when your name was mentioned. The one that could not stand the light in you. You were not just offended, you were targeted. Targeted because your voice carries weight. Targeted because your obedience shakes atmospheres. Targeted because your very presence reminds darkness of its limited time. They didn't just dislike you. They were agitated by the anointing. And agitation became accusation. Accusation became distance. And distance became manipulation. But hear this now. This was a test of spiritual sensitivity. It was never about your emotions. It was about your discernment. Heaven allowed the wound to locate the warrior within you. Because the next season you're stepping into requires sharper eyes and stronger discernment. You cannot walk into destiny still hoping everyone clapping is for you. You cannot walk into breakthrough while still craving validation from broken voices. It is how can one punishment with betraying. It stripped away the false alliances. It shattered illusion. It separated the wheat from the tares. Heaven wanted you to see what couldn't follow you into your next chapter. You were elevated through elimination. And yes, it hurt. Yes, it confused you. But it also awakened you. Michael wants you to see it now with holy clarity. Your name caused the storm. Not because you were wrong, but because you were marked. You carry something in your spirit that triggered warfare in theirs. The tension you felt wasn't because of your error, it was because of your elevation. You've been walking with the weight of warfare because you're walking with the weight of glory. This is spiritual warfare cloaked in human actions. Irrel-level resistance masked in emotional withdrawal. A demonic orchestration pretending to be normal misunderstanding. But heaven says enough. Heaven says see it. Heaven says rise above it. And heaven says it ready. Because once you frame this conflict correctly, you will no longer fight with carnal weapons. You will no longer explain yourself in circles. You will no longer wrestle against people. You will stand in authority over spirits. Declare it now. I no longer wrestle with flesh. I take authority over every spirit assigned to distract, delay, or deceive me. You are not confused, you are called. You are not wounded, you are awakened to war. And now, what once hurt you will bow to the clarity within you. This is your turning point. This is your spiritual awakening. This is your positioning. And the spirit realm has taken notice. Type I am armed in spirit in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2288 is now activated. There is movement again. Subtle, but real. Listen carefully. The air is shifting. In the spirit realm, what once was quiet has begun to stir again. There is movement. faint to the distracted, but thunderous to the awakened. It's not just the past you're revisiting, it's the pattern that is circling again. Something is coming. Not weeks from now, not months, but within the next 72 hours, there will be a movement that confirms what Michael has already shown you. You'll feel it before you hear it. You'll sense it before it's spoken. And when it arrives, you must not be surprised. This is your forewarning. This is your alert. You've been positioned not only to remember, but to respond differently. The spirit that cloaked itself in kindness before is about to speak again, but not with words, with posture, with a shift in tone, with a change in energy. Your alliances will adjust subtly. Their narrative will shift, quietly. It will look like reconciliation, but feel like control. It will sound like peace, but pressure will sit beneath the surface. Do not fall for it. The same spirit is at work, cloaking itself in new language, hoping you've forgotten what heaven just revealed. Michael's instruction is clear. Watch their posture, not their words. The words will flatter. The tone may be soft, but posture is spiritual. It cannot lie. Posture will reveal true allegiance. Watch for their alignment. Watch for their sudden interest. Watch for their soft suggestions disguised as support. You must be more vigilant now than ever. Not paranoid, but postured. Not reactive, but reverent. The enemy is cunning. He doesn't need a door. He only needs a crack. And in this season, heaven has sealed the breaches, but you must not reopen them with emotional nostalgia. The false peace that's coming is an attempt to regain access. But your silence must speak louder than your explanations. Don't defend yourself. Don't feel the need to clarify. Don't let guilt or curiosity make room for confusion. Michael's word is precise. Your silence is a sword. In this hour, silence will guard you. It will protect what God is rebuilding in you. It will fence out the voices that once fractured your focus. You don't need to say a word. Just observe. Just watch. Just wait. Within 72 hours, something hidden will begin to surface. A glance. A message. A comment. A Venerian. It may not seem significant, but in the spirit, it's an announcement. It's the spirit trying to regain a foothold. Heaven is warning you now so you won't mislabel the moment. You'll know it by how it makes your spirit feel. Not what it says, but what it shakes. And when it comes, stand still. Do not open the door. Do not explain your silence. Do not justify your discernment. You owe no apology for obeying the Spirit. You must understand, spiritual warfare doesn't always wear the face of a threat. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it speaks softly. Sometimes it says, "I've changed." But discernment sees the pattern behind the words. Michael is not revealing this so you will live in fear. He's revealing it so you will stand in authority. You passed the test before. Now, you must steward the clarity. You are no longer in confusion. You are in command. Because heaven's agenda isn't to expose people, it's to equip you. And now you've been equipped. You've been warned. You've been prepared. Heaven trusts you now to walk in wisdom. And with that trust comes responsibility. This is not about offense. This is about order. Do not let your compassion compromise your calling. Love them, bless them, pray for them, but do not let them near the places you've consecrated. The boundary is holy. And in this season, your silence is not passive, it's prophetic. You don't need to speak to win this battle. You need only to see. Type ISE clearly in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3030 is now activated. Heaven is already engaged. You need not strive. There is a warfare taking place beyond what your eyes can see. Even as you rest, even as you weep, even as you reflect on what was revealed, know this: heaven is already fighting for you. You are not left defenseless. You are not abandoned in the tension. Michael is not just a messenger. He is a warrior. He has encircled your home, your heart, and your timeline. What is coming cannot penetrate the shield that has been placed around you, unless you open the gate with fear or flesh. This is a holy hour, and the instructions are precise. Be still. That stillness is not inactivity. It is spiritual posture. Stillness doesn't mean silence in your mind. It means anchoring your spirit in the truth that the battle belongs to the Lord. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to chase closure. You don't need to perform emotional CPR on connections God has already severed. In this moment, your stillness is a war cry. It is a refusal to be baited into noise. It is a sacred withdrawal from the chaos. Fast. Pray. Listen. Not for drama, not for validation, but for the next divine instruction. It is coming. But it won't come in busyness. It won't come in striving. It will come in stillness. Your quiet time will become your command center. Your isolation will become your ignition. And you must guard that space, fiercely. Because in the sacred cocoon, heaven is downloading the next blueprint. The Spirit is whispering directions. Angelic scribes are recording your prayers. And Michael stands at the gates to ensure that what God is doing in you is not interrupted. Do not warn them. Do not explain your absence. Do not hint at your discernment. The flesh wants to react, but the Spirit must remain submitted. This war is not verbal. It's not about who understands you or who doesn't. This is a realm exchange. Something is being removed and something greater is being released. And the only way to fully receive it is to withdraw inward. Let the noise rage. Let the rumors swirl. Let them wonder. You owe no one an explanation for the boundaries God set. Say it out loud now, even in the quiet of your room. Heaven fights for me while I rest. That declaration sends shockwaves through the unseen realm. That word summons angels to your defense. That posture silences every tongue that rises against you. You're not stepping back out of weakness. You're stepping into a divine shield. Do not post about it. Do not drop hints online. Do not express it in veiled language. This is not the season for announcements. It is the season of alignment. Withdraw into the secret place. Let the Spirit of God recalibrate your internal compass. You've been externally aware for too long. Now is the time to center your ear on heaven's whisper. And in that space, Michael will remain. This is not avoidance. This is advancement. Not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit. Rest is not retreat. It is a military strategy in the kingdom. Your stillness is your strike. Your peace is your protest. Your quiet is your confidence. Because the enemy thrives in reaction, but he is rendered powerless when the chosen ones refuse to flinch. You are safe. You are covered. You are surrounded. Say it until your soul believes it. And when the wind rises again, as it will, remember who stands beside you. Michael does not lose battles. Heaven does not retreat. And you, yes, you, are not alone in this moment. Type "I am shielded" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7117 is now surrounding you. You are not the broken one anymore. Let this truth settle into your soul. The version of you who was hurt in that moment is no longer the version standing here now. That version wept in silence. That version questioned, doubted, replayed conversations until the memory blurred. But now, that version has been transfigured by fire, refined in the wilderness, strengthened in the silence. You are not the broken one anymore. You are the becoming one, the one rising from revelation, the one forged in holy confrontation, the one whose identity has shifted from confusion to commission. Michael did not rewind time to bring pity to your story. You rewound time so you could see it again through the lens of power. What once defined you now fuels you. What once hindered you now humbles you. What once drained you has now been repurposed into a well of fire, and that fire is burning through the residue of false identity. Yes, you hurt. Yes, you bled. But that moment was not the end. It was the ignition. The flame of clarity has been lit within you, and it cannot be extinguished. Do you not realize yet? You've become dangerous to the darkness. You've become a threat to the atmosphere. That betrayal, that pause, that moment that made you second-guess your value, it has now positioned you for supernatural advancement. You didn't just survive the sabotage, you transcended it. You didn't just endure the silence, you were restructured in it. Heaven has been reconstructing your identity, piece by piece, not to resemble what was, but to reveal what always was beneath the surface. What once hurt now becomes the hinge that swings open the gates of heaven's authority over your life. That pain cracked you open, and in the cracking, glory poured in. The deception no longer devastates you, awakens you. The people who once confused you now confirm what God has revealed about your calling. The awkward silence that once made you feel unwanted now becomes evidence of your spiritual maturity. Because you didn't need their apology, you needed God's affirmation. And you have it now. Your wings were not crafted in comfort. They were forged in dissection. The heat of that betrayal did not melt you. It molded you. You've learned to fly in the tension, to ascend above assumptions, to soar over the noise. You carry within you now the fire of revelation, the strength of restraint, the wisdom of winds turned into weapons. Rise. Yes, rise. No longer a victim, no longer a seeker of closure, no longer tethered to timelines that no longer serve your becoming. Rise as a vessel of fire. Heaven is reintroducing you now. No longer the one who was dismissed. No longer the one who was misread. You are being reintroduced as the empowered version of you. The version that understands silence is sacred. The version that doesn't need to argue to be understood. The version that walks into a room and changes the climate with presence alone. You are walking into places that once tolerated you, and now they will tremble. Because the one returning is not the one who left. You have come through the fire. You have come through the revelation. And you carry heaven's oil now. The warfare was a confirmation. The betrayal with the prophecy. The deception with the preparation. And now, you rise not with bitterness but with burning. With vision, with vengeance, not against people, but against principalities, against the narrative that tried to reduce you, against the lie that told you your softness was a weakness, against the silence that tried to silence you. Stand tall, eyes forward. You are not bound to the past anymore. That moment has no chains, only keys. You are no longer trying to make sense of it. You are making movement from it. You are dangerous to the systems that tried to manipulate you. You are a revelation walking in flesh. And those who once underestimated you, They won't recognize what you've become, and that's the point. Type "I am empowered" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 4554 is now surrounding you. That moment Michael showed you, it was your unlocking. Do not diminish the significance of what you were shown. That moment, burned into your memory, carrying weight in your chest. It was not merely a painful reminder. It was a moment of unlocking. What you thought was the enemy's strategy was heaven's staging ground. What looked like betrayal was actually a beginning. Heaven did not permit that wound without purpose. It was not random. You were the gate, the door to something deeper, something weightier, something eternal. The pain that cracked your confidence became the portal through which divine clarity was born. Michael didn't rewind your memory just for reflection. He did it for revelation. Because in that moment lies a divine key, a prophetic unveiling, a piece of your scroll that had to be seen again with matured vision. When it first happened, you did have the clarity. You did have the language. But now you carry discernment. Now you can see what was really moving behind the smiles. You can sense what was really being planted during the conversation. The Spirit is whispering now. That wasn't rejection. It was redirection. It wasn't betrayal. It was birthing. This is what the enemy never expected. That the moment meant to cripple you would become your greatest confirmation. He intended to confuse you, but it clarified you. He hoped it would silence you, but it summoned your fire. And heaven used that very moment as the unlocking. Because promotion in the Spirit always follows unveiling. And now the veil has been torn. You're stepping into a new realm, one that requires not just spiritual gifts, but spiritual clarity. The kind of clarity that can distinguish flattery from favor. The kind of clarity that can discern when presence is not peace. The kind of clarity that does not ask for confirmation from people, but receives confirmation from heaven. That moment you saw, it was not the end of a chapter. It was the tearing of a seal. And what's being released now is revelation you couldn't have handled then. The hidden hand behind it all. Exposed. Not just to accuse, but to equip. God didn't show you just so you would grieve. He showed you so you would graduate. You are no longer in the realm of assumption. You are walking in precision. You are making decisions not based on memory, but based on mandate. That person, that relationship, that situation, it had to happen. It had to fall apart. It had to feel like loss. Because only then could heaven introduce you to the version of yourself that carries kingdom weight. That moment wasn't just about you seeing the truth. It was about you becoming the truth. Becoming the evidence of what heaven restores. Becoming the testimony that rises from treachery. You are not just healed. You are marked. Not everyone will understand this version of you. Not everyone will celebrate it. But that's how you'll know it's real. Because promotion doesn't come with a parade, it comes with spiritual pressure. It comes with exposure. It comes with release. You've been launched. And now the heavens are open in a new way. Your prayers carry weight now. Your worship shatters ceilings. Your discernment divides atmospheres. And the enemy is terrified. Because what was supposed to end you has elevated you. And there's no going back. This was your moment. The one Michael brought you back to see, not to mourn, but to move. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe now for continued revelation, Holy Spirit-led teaching, and prophetic insight that equips you to walk boldly in your calling. Type "I am unlocked" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5885 is now surrounding you. Speak this now. I step into alignment with my assignment. What heaven showed you wasn't just to reveal deception. It was to reposition your destiny. The timeline has been realigned, and now comes the moment of decision. Heaven is waiting. The realm is still. Time has been rewound, but what you do next determines what unfolds. You cannot unknow what hath been shown. You cannot return to old rhythms, old loyalties, old wounds. You've been exposed to heaven's mind concerning your life, and now your response is required. No more delay. No more waiting for permission from people who were never meant to carry your blueprint. No more tiptoeing through callings, hoping not to offend the comfort of others. This is the moment. This is the shift. This is the alignment. You must speak it aloud, not for heaven's benefit, but for the breaking of your own hesitations. I step into alignment with my assignment. Say it again. Let the atmosphere hear it. Let your soul agree with it. Let every demon who tried to deter you be reminded. You are no longer living beneath your mandate. You are no longer seeking shelter under the opinions of the limited. You are no longer tethered to timelines corrupted by emotional dependencies. The time for small living has expired. The delay has ended. The time to move is now. This is not hype. This is holy strategy. Heaven waited for the moment your awareness caught up with your anointing. You've had the oil for years. The dreams. The promptings. The burden. But the alignment was fractured by wounds you didn't understand. That moment, the one Michael rewound for you, it had to be exposed because your assignment couldn't wait any longer. That betrayal delayed you not because of its damage, but because of your doubt. You questioned if you still heard God right. You questioned if you were still chosen. But now you know. You are called to act. Not in confusion, not in insecurity, but with precision and authority. This isn't about rushing. This is about obeying quickly. When the Spirit says move, you move. When the Spirit says release, you release. When the Spirit says speak, you speak. Not to be understood, but to be obedient. Your obedience is the unlocking mechanism. It doesn't just move you, it moves heaven. Angels respond to obedience. Territories open at the sound of yes. The next level of favor, clarity, and access is waiting for your next act of alignment. Walk boldly now. Not arrogantly. Not as one who is unsure. Walk as one who carries heaven's scroll in their spirit. Because the coordinates of your life have shifted. The relationships, the assignments, the conversations, the doors, all of it is changing to reflect your obedience. Every no you release will clear the way for yes that matters. You don't need to chase connections. You don't need to strategize your influence. All you need is to agree with heaven's blueprint. The rest will unfold with divine ease. And be warned, not everyone will understand this new version of you. Some will call you distant. Some will call you proud. Some will wonder where your explanations went. But the truth is, you stepped into alignment. And alignment doesn't ask for approval. It demands focus. You are not where you were. You cannot explain divine instructions to those who still live by emotional compass. Heaven gave you the word. Heaven gave you the vision. Heaven gave you the fire. And now heaven is saying, move. Rise. You've been cleared. Time has been redeemed. Your memory has been healed. Your perspective has been reformed. I've fulfilled the moment. The moment they meant to destroy you, God meant to launch you. And now, all of heaven is watching. Will you respond in boldness or shrink in false humility? The stage is set. The angels are aligned. The coordinates are written. Step forward. Step now. Type I align with destiny in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9119 is now surrounding you. While they sleep, angels revise your story. Even now, even as you breathe, even as you reflect, something is happening in the spirit. Unseen, undisturbed, and undeniable. Heaven is not waiting for your perfection to perform restoration. Heaven is already working. While others rest in their ignorance, while those who wounded you sleep without repentance, there is movement in the realm of eternity. Angels are rewriting records. Angelic scribes have taken that moment, the one Michael showed you, and presented it before the throne of God. It was not ignored. It was not forgotten. It was submitted for reversal. That memory. It wasn't just replayed. It was traded. Heaven does not let the righteous suffer without compensation. You've been carrying that weight, but now, in the spirit, it hath been swapped for anointing. The ache in your chest. It wasn't just sorrow, it was the stirring of the transfer. And now, that sorrow has become currency. That silence has become seed. That delay has become dominion. Michael stood before the throne, sword in hand, your name declared with clarity, return what was stolen. And heaven agreed. Here is a silent exchange happening. You may not feel it in your body yet, but your spirit knows it. The unease, the late night wakefulness, the sudden rush of clarity. These are not random. They are symptoms of spiritual reversal. Where others tried to limit you, heaven is now extending you. Where they tried to cover you in confusion, heaven is now clothing you in glory. Where manipulation tried to steal momentum, heaven has restored it in multiplication. What was stolen in silence is now being restored in supernatural silence. You don't need to pose about it. You don't need to tell the world. You just need to receive. Receive what is being placed into your hands, not by man, but by the messengers of God. The exchange is already done. The trade has been processed. And what you will see in days to come is the fruit of what was shifted in secret. Your restlessness was never just anxiety. It was a signal, an internal alert from heaven that the realm was moving on your behalf, that angelic forces were intercepting timelines, revising connections, rearranging outcomes. The systems that were once closed to you, now unlocking. A people who dismiss you, now sensing your name in the spirit. The rooms you were rejected from, and now requesting your presence, because the exchange has taken place. Your obedience to trust what Michael revealed has authorized heaven to release what had been withheld. This isn't just spiritual comfort. This is spiritual currency. Heaven pays in full. And when God repays, He never does so in the same measure of pain. He repays with interest, with power, with platform, with perspective. The moment of betrayal has been rewritten into a moment of birthing. The hands that once betrayed you have no more power. The spirit that once deceived you has lost jurisdiction. The realm has ruled in your favor, and the divine exchange is complete. Now, walk like one who's been restored. Think like one who's been reinstated. Worship like one who's been rewarded. Not in arrogance, but in awareness. The glory on your life is not random. It is residue from the secret place. It is the proof of angelic interception. and no one can take it, because it was never given by man. Type "I receive the exchange" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2442 is now surrounding you. They thought they got away with it, but time reveals all. Justice delayed is never justice denied. Heaven is not blind. Heaven is not slow. Heaven is deliberate. And while man schemes in silence, heaven documents everything. Let it be known, this day, what they did in secret is being reversed in the spirit. The very thing they believed would never be exposed, the very weapon they crafted in the shadows, the words whispered behind your back, the moments carefully coordinated to sabotage your destiny, all of it is now reversing. Not through vengeance, not through your retaliation, but through divine intervention. Michael has seen to it. He not only rewound time, but he submitted it into the courts of heaven. And the judgment hath been made. The scale has tipped. The books have been opened. And the reversal is now unfolding. Not to destroy them, but to vindicate you. What was stolen must be restored. What was misaligned must be reordered. What was hidden must now be brought into the light. This is divine justice, and no man, no spirit, no system can stop what has been decreed by the throne. They thought their manipulation would win. They thought their alliance with darkness was safe behind a smile. They believed silence would protect them. But time, sacred time, heavenly time, reveals all. And in the span of moments, heaven can shift what years of deceit tried to control. You see, this isn't just about what they did to you. It's about what was done through you. Because what they meant for harm, God has turned for promotion. They didn't just attack you. They activated something in you. The deception that once broke you has now become the confirmation that you were always chosen. The exclusion they orchestrated was actually divine extraction. You were not rejected. You were rescued. And now, the evidence is mounting. The people who once questioned your anointing are seeing it now without words. The very ones who sowed seeds of doubt are watching you rise in fire. Because heaven reversed the plot. Heaven wrote the script. And not only are you being restored, you are being elevated in full view. What was done in darkness is being unraveled in light. And this time, you won't have to lift a finger. You won't have to speak a word. The reversal is supernatural. God is ensuring that the very ones who participated in the deception will now witness your divine restoration. Not for shame, but for evidence. The table hath been prepared, not in private, but in the presence of those who tried to sabotage your seat. The scroll hath been unsealed. Your name is on it. Your promise is attached to it. And the fulfillment is now unfolding. The places you were removed from, they will need what you carry. The doors that were closed, they will recognize your key. The narratives that were whispered about you, they will collapse under the weight of your fruit. Because you never had to fight to prove your value. You only had to endure until justice arrived. And justice is here now, not as a flash of wrath, but as a slow, undeniable reversal. Every loss, compensated. Every delay, redeemed. Every scar anointed. You are walking into rooms that once shut you out. You are inheriting land that was illegally occupied. You are rising into ranks you didn't chase, because favor is never forced. It's assigned, and heaven has now assigned you justice. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $5. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe now for spiritual strategies, prophetic clarity, and Holy Spirit direction you won't find anywhere else. Type "Divine Justice is mine" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3737 is now surrounding you. You are sealed by heaven's command. This is where the journey culminates, not in chaos but in command. Not in fear, but in fire. Heaven hath not only shown you the hidden hand, heaven has broken it. The spirit that moved through betrayal, the deception that lived in memory, the confusion that followed you, all of it has now been shattered by the hand of Michael. This isn't just an ending. This is an elevation. The moment he rewound time to show you. That wasn't a haunting, it was your hallowing. That was the moment you were sealed. Say it now: I see. I know. I walk forward. Let that affirmation echo through your bones. Let it root itself in your memory. You are no longer bound by that moment. You are no longer tethered to that pain. You are no longer chained to that betrayal. What was meant to confuse you has become your confirmation. What was used to isolate you has become your instrument. You are not the victim of manipulation. You are the product of revelation. Heaven has wrapped your name inscrolled in fire. Angels now walk with you, not as messengers, but as guardians of your movement. You are protected. You are promoted. You are positioned. There is no delay in you now. There is no distortion in your view. You walk with holy insight, sacred boldness, and divine acceleration. The hand behind it all, that dark orchestration that hoped you wouldn't survive the silence, has been revealed and broken. Let it settle in your soul. You are no longer bound by that timeline. The loop has been interrupted. The curse has been cancelled. The detour has been overridden. Time has bent, and heaven has given you back what was lost. Even now, the years that were taken are being compressed into moments of divine acceleration. You will not leave this season empty-handed. You will not exit this war as a wounded soldier. You leave as one who carries keys. Your next step is holy. Every door you walk through will carry weight. Every yes will carry authority. Every silence will carry protection. You do not owe the past your presence. You owe your future your obedience. Rise now. Rise as one chosen, covered, and commanded by heaven. You are not merely walking forward. You are marching in purpose. And as you go, know this: Michael watches still. The same Archangel who rewound time to show you that moment will now go before you into every moment that follows. Your timeline is redeemed. Your steps are ordered. Your soul is sealed. Type "IT is done" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7007 is now released over your life.